Libra friends, and welcome to your horoscope for May of 2022, where Libra, this month, your ruling planet doesn't come into domicile in your sign, but it does come into domicile in the energy of Taurus, fellow Venus ruled sign. So there's actually a lot of comfortability happening for you around your natal energy this month. So I hope you really get to take advantage of that. Not to mention, it is just a busy month. We've got Mercury going retrograde, Jupiter moving into Aries, and those are actually happening on the same day. Then we have got the full moon lunar eclipse happening in the energy of Scorpio, and then that Mercury retrograde sliding back into the energy of Taurus. So reviewing some things we've already seen this year. Lots going on. Let's jump in here and get you into the information and out experiencing May. Now, first of all, on the 2nd, we're going to see Venus, your ruling planet, moving into the energy of Aries. So this makes us bolder, louder, prouder, more aggressive, more assertive. I want to go get it. I'm not taking no for an answer. It can be a very pushy, powerful, go for it kind of energy. So in your relationships, which is the 7th house where this Venus energy is lighting up, you may find that it's getting a little bit busy. Now, a better use of Venus is to remember that Venus is an attracting energy. So where do you need to attract some courage, attract some boldness, attract maybe being a little bit more patient, not necessarily the brightest quality of Venus in Aries, but where do you also need to attract in that beauty, that harmony, that salve? Where do you need to understand that some things are very important for you to fight for because they are what you value and you need to honor that? Venus in Aries will bring this level of busyness definitely to your table. Now, on the 3rd, we're going to see Jupiter come into a sextile with Pluto, who is retrograde. This sextile is particularly useful because not only does a sextile present a pocket of opportunity, but then we're intelligently taking action on that opportunity, and there's a relative ease that becomes available there. But with Jupiter sextiling a retrograde Pluto, one of the things I think is profound about this particular energy is that it brings your ambitions and your motivations squared up, like really close contact to what actions you're willing to take to grow. Where are you willing to grow and expand and move out of your comfort zone in order to be in alignment with those principles and those ideals that you hold for yourself? Where have you had, Pluto's retrograde and at the end of the Capricorn sign, where have you had a resetting or a realignment with your sense of purpose and what drives you and makes you want to go out in the world and become better, become a resource to the world around you? This is a phenomenal energy for taking advantage of an opportunity that can present itself for you to do just that. Now, on the 4th and the 5th, we're going to see the Sun and Uranus traveling together there in the energy of Taurus. As these two travel together, absolutely anything is possible. I want you to keep that in mind. Expect the unexpected. Expect something to come out of the blue. Now, this lights up for you your 8th house space. So again, it's more of a resource and relationship house. We've got joint connections, joint finances. So maybe even something out of the blue pops up for a spouse or a partner that you're working with. If you're looking for collaboration, sponsorships, endorsements, any of those kinds of things, maybe you find out you owe a little bit more on your taxes, right? Whatever it is in this 8th house space, including revealing truths, expect the unexpected. And whatever presents itself is presenting itself right on time because you have every resource at your disposal, even if you don't know it's at your disposal just yet. And you are also fit spiritually enough to handle what's being handed to you. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, as we get to the 10th, busy day, I would love for you to circle really the 10th, circle the 10th on your calendar, but also make note that the 10th until really the 20th of this month, I think are vibrationally quite high. Now, on the 10th, we're going to have Mercury stepping into its retrograde at 4 degrees of Gemini. We have had Mercury in its pre-retrograde shadow energy, so slowing down right there at 26 degrees of Taurus. So locate between 26 degrees of Taurus and 4 degrees of Gemini on your chart, and that is what you're working on very specifically during this retrograde period. Mercury turns retrograde though here on the 10th at that 4 degrees of Gemini. Now we're also going to see Mercury come out of retrograde on June 3rd at 26 degrees of Taurus and end the full post-retrograde shadow, so bringing the cycle to a close on June 18th, back at that 4 degrees of Gemini, okay? So really these are the spaces that you're watching. Now as Mercury is retrograde in these areas, you're reviewing, revising, re-editing, reconnecting, reunioning maybe. I do want to say, if you've got Mercury retrograde in your chart, the Mercury retrograde is really not sending you back in like it is for the rest of us to review things. Instead, it's asking you to take things you have already been reviewing in your mind very internally or quietly and bring them out. So if you have a Mercury retrograde in your chart, this may feel like more of an outward pull than an inward shine, okay? Now, also on the same day, we've got Jupiter jumping over there into the energy of Aries, where we will see this travel all the way until October, and then we'll see it come back in December all the way until May of 2023. But as Jupiter moves into the energy of Aries, this expands, Libra, this 7th house zone for you. Conscious, chosen, one-on-one relationships. That means business partnerships, romantic relationships, the relationship of you with you. Where have you had to get in alignment? You with the universe. Where have you had to get in alignment? And where are you ready to expand that thing out to have the next experience that is available for you? Jupiter cares about experience and getting you into an understanding and wise enough position for you to have that wisdom to take out to the world. But it also expands and puts that magnifying glass on whatever's going on in your relationships so that you can take a look at them and get the wisdom that you need from it. It's really a lovely energy. So, but just remember this first portion, May to October, is kind of the preview of what you're really going to work on from December until May, okay? As we get to the 16th, we've got a full moon lunar eclipse happening in the energy of Scorpio at 25 degrees. Now, the full moon says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. So we need to make a change here. And all of the light in the sky is available for us to see. And what are we seeing? What am I power struggling with? Right? This is happening in your 2nd house. So around your finances, your value, your self-worth, the things that you value, your possessions. What have you been in power struggle with? And now this full moon is giving you an opportunity to shed some of that. It is really nicely in alignment with ruling planet Mars, Neptune, Pluto, square Saturn. So you really have an opportunity here with this particular moon to say, where do I need to adjust so that I genuinely can grow? Remember, we had this solar eclipse just last month in the energy of Taurus. So up there in your 8th house, something was trying to start, trying to grow, trying to have deeper intimacy, trying to have more freedom, healing. Maybe even your astrological practice was changing. And this Scorpio eclipse is trying to release what is actually in the way of stopping the growth of that beautiful Taurus area and give you reprieve, allow you to phoenix in this area so you can die off in one form and live in another. And what that can look like very practically is you have a different way to make money. You understand your skills and talents in a different way that you can take out and make money. Maybe you have too many possessions that you've been holding on to. Maybe there's a relationship you've been holding on to and you are trying to make it work, not by giving and sharing in a cyclical energy, but by power and control. These will be things that will absolutely come to our attention, okay? On the 20th, we see the sun moving into the energy of Gemini, bringing light, heat, life, and vitality to your 9th house space. Publishing, marketing, broadcasting, international travel, higher education, training, legal things, immigration, foreign languages, different languages, all come to mind when we're looking at this area. So what are you curious about? It's going to get busy. Gemini season is not just hanging out. It's an air energy. So you're sharing ideas, you're networking, you're having communication, you're teaching something, right? Are you starting to teach that class finally? Come on out here. Please be a teacher. Are you learning something in a class? Are you changing direction, right? Mercury's retrograde of something that you were learning. I really thought I wanted to study psychology. psychology and it turns out I really want to study international business, right? Is there a change happening in your education and learning space? The other thing I look at the 9th house for is, what are you talking about today that has to do with faith? How have your ideas and your beliefs and your philosophies changed in your life? And maybe you're in a position to be sharing those at this time. Now, on the 22nd, we're going to see that Mercury that is retrograde slide back into the energy of Taurus. So now you can review 29 degrees to 26 degrees of Taurus, because that's what you're going to work on until June 3rd, okay? On the what do we got here? The 24th, we've got Mars moving into Aries, so into home court territory, ready to go. Let's do this. This is relationships. I will tell you, Mars in Aries, if there are challenges or problems in your relationship, Mars in Aries is ready to fight. We're ready to have the fight. We're ready to have the conflict, right? Because Mars will have the conflict because it does understand conflict brings resolution, right? You can't weed your garden by looking at it, by hoping and praying and wishing that the weeds will jump out. You have got to pull those suckers, right? So think about it like that. It's not always that Mars is showing up to just pop you in your eye, right? Like sometimes that's what it comes out, but sometimes it is just understanding that Mars will move in a way that initiates action to change, a striving to initiate what can be next, and it does it quite courageously, quite fiercely. Mars is the energy, Aries is the energy of the surgeon. We cut with this energy, okay? But we cut with an intention to heal, transform, and to make differently, okay? So as you're looking at this in your relationships, if there are conflicts that need to be had, they may be had, but it could also just be active. Mars in Aries in your 7th house, you could be like, listen, I'm trying to put this body yaddy somewhere, you know, like you want to be touched. There's a desire, there's a sexual piece that's very available here. Maybe you are just wanting to move your body more, and you're doing that in relation with other people. Very exciting times. Please let me know how that energy kicks in for you. Just a couple days later, Venus is going to move into the energy of Taurus, lighting up our pleasure principle. Now, this is in the 8th house for you, okay? So Venus in the 8th house, again, remember, it's an attracting energy. So what healing salve needs to come into your life, bring diplomacy, bring ease, bring balance into your intimate relationships, into your body? How are you with your reproductive system, with your gut system? You know, how are you feeling balanced right now with your sexual energy, which is not about sex, it's about your root chakra energy. You know, do you have a bunch of energy trapped in these hips, trapped down here in the psoas muscles, right? Like, what do you have going on? The pleasure principle becomes alive and well. And as you release, it becomes attractive here with Venus in the energy of Taurus. Now, that can attract money. It can attract relationships. It can just attract things that make you feel beautiful, or you're feeling and speaking beauty into the lives of other people. This is absolutely an option. This can also be a wonderful time to romance a partner, whatever that looks like in your life, because Venus just wants to have a good time and have the pleasure principle, which is important. As we're closing out this month on the 30th, we're going to have a new moon at 9 degrees of Gemini. So you're planting your seeds of intention to begin what you are curious about. What is this over the rainbow, expanding your horizons energy that Gemini is bringing to your attention? It's curious. This is aligned with Jupiter in Aries now, so it's very expansive. It's like fire and air, get out. Jupiter, the natural ruler of 9th house energy. There is an expansion of you. So what are you curious to put yourself out there to do, to share, to communicate? Who do you want to network with? This is your chance to plant those seeds of intention and watch them begin to develop over this next 4 weeks. Busy month here, Libra, but I think it's going to be good. Use it well. It's not going to feel like the most perfect month ever for everybody. Remember that. First of all, you want to absolutely grab your chart and see where these degrees and these indicators are happening in your personal chart. The general can in no way cover everybody, but it does give us a very big boost of information about what your sun energy will experience, okay? All right, my absolutely beautiful friends, I love you. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe. You can see we're in a different location. We'll be back home next month, and I love you, and I'll see you next month. Bye, Libra.